Welcome to Schladming in Austria for the 6th leg of the ISMF Ski Mountaineering World Cup. We're kicking off 2 exciting days of racing today with the 3rd vertical race of the season. There are 2 start lines today, with the men going first, followed by the women. You can see that it is perhaps not the best of conditions here in Schladming in terms of the weather, but never fear, the snow conditions are great and we are ready to roll with the vertical. This is the 3rd time. This is the 3rd time Schladming has hosted the SkiMo World Cup, and in 2023 and 2024 it absolutely made a name for itself, becoming a favourite spot for both the athletes and the spectators. As I say, you can see here it's snowing. Well, it's probably a little optimistic to say it's snowing. It is in fact raining the whole entire length of the course. We can see, and because it's quite a low start, starts at 470 meters, and but it will be snowing once they get to the top. The vertical race rankings are as follows for the women: Axel Gachet-Molleret with Emily Harrop and Johanna Himmer in behind her, Ana Alonso Rodriguez, Celia Peria-Pessé, Tip Dessin, Tujan Sudan, Ivona Januszczyk, Sulang Tujan and Sarah Dreyer. Of course, the local favourite for today. There are quite a lot of the top 20 missing today for various reasons, which we will come on to later. It is a much smaller field than we might have hoped for. But in the men's vertical race, well, Remy Bonnet is here and ready to defend his title and perhaps win his 17th consecutive vertical title. But challenging him will be Aurélien Gay, Maximilien Drian du Chapois, Christoph Hochenwarter of Austria, Paul J. Xavier beg your pardon, those are the rankings. Paul J. is here, but there are many, as I say, is in the same with the men as the women. There are some in the top 20 that are not here, but we have plenty of them who are here, as you can see, on this very grey day in Schladming, warming up and keeping dry in the tents. Giving us a quick wave there. That is the Chinese team. I beg your pardon, Japanese team, that's Kenta Endo, just on the bike there. This is the way they're warming up, quite rightly so, because it is a bit of a grim day. So, if you don't know about vertical, let me tell you what it's all about. It's really the sufferfest of the disciplines. Most vertical races have a mass start, and the athletes carry no equipment on their backs to be as light as possible. They skin up the course with no more than 700 meters of vertical, quite simply from start to finish, no transitions, and the first across the line wins. It is quite normal to see them lying flat on the ground at the end. Such is the exertion. And a woman who knows all about that is joining me in the studio. With me, as always this season, Mireia Miró, 2-time world champion and former member of the Spanish SkiMo team. Mireia, what a day for this vertical.
Yes, what a day. Hi, everyone. So we cannot say that it's a fantastic day because it's a pretty rough day today. The conditions are very hard, but I think we will have a fantastic race.
Great, and let's look at that course. We mentioned earlier, 3.1 kilometers long with 600 meters of vertical, and the starting elevation is 740. I said 470. I was talking absolute nonsense. They're up to 1,340 meters, which is where the snow is properly starting to fall. It's quite a steep course and has given us some very exciting racing in the last couple of years. And on the start list this morning or this afternoon, Emily Harp of France, fresh from World Cup team victory and relay victory. Behind her, Johanna Hiemer will be doing her best for Austria. We've got Ana Alonso Rodriguez of Spain, Celia Perea-Pessé, who had a phenomenal week last week as well at the World Championships. Tide Dessin, the under-23 vertical world champion. Zhu Dan Yujan of China, followed by Solan Kujen, Sarah Dreyer of Austria, Alessandra Schmidt, Alberi Silvestro, and there on your screen you can see the remaining top 20 for the women. There are 33 of them on the start line. A slightly smaller start line than we would normally expect to see, but we will see why that is a little later on. And there we have the rankings again. Axelle Gachet-Molleret, a massive gap in the start line today, but I think there will be plenty of people fighting for her spot on the top of the podium today, and she will almost certainly, well, depends who wins, she has a very high chance of losing her top spot there on the rankings. But other things, other fish to fry for Axelle Gachet-Molleret this week, but some really exciting competitors on the start line in just over 2 minutes. Mireia, I sort of haven't really let you speak, but what's going on with the start line today? Who have we got to look out for?
So we have many strong women. Even if Axelle is not here today, we have Emily Harrop, we have Celia Perea-Pessé, Alonso. We have many strong women today. I think that with the World Championships last week and the sprint tomorrow, some athletes have decided to prioritize some races over others, but still we have a very strong field of athletes.
Yeah, so we were just looking at the women there, but actually we're talking about the men. So let's have a look. Here we are. This is one man who will be getting much support out there, Paul Verbniak of Austria, Maximilien Drian Duchapois, who is not Paul J. We will be seeing him shortly. Max Drian there, currently number 3 on the vertical rankings. Second last week at the World Championships, and there is the man to beat, Rémi Bonnet, aiming for his 17th consecutive vertical title since 2021. He has not lost one, and I hope I don't do the old commentator's curse, but he is the man to beat today for sure. Next to him is compatriot and sometime teammate Aurélien Gay from the Val d'Aubagne in Switzerland, who was 3rd at the World Championships, currently 2nd in the rankings. There we have Christoph Hochenwarter, another local favourite, doing it for Austria. 6th last week. There's a familiar face. The world number 1, Thibaut Anselmet, starting with bib number 6 today on the front line of this vertical. And it's quite interesting. We are normally, Mireia, commentating for the sprint. Today it's a vertical, and to see some different people right on the start line there.
Yes, it's so nice to see, and the vertical, it's a very different effort from the sprint. So it's very nice that you have this opportunity to see these other athletes that maybe are not as strong in sprint, but can be very strong in vertical races.
And they're off. It is the 3rd vertical race of the ISMF World Cup season 2025. And they have 600 meters of vertical. Rémi Bonnet, we saw him right in the middle of our screens there before the start. He is the man to beat, and it's very nice to see quite a large selection of Austrian uniforms heading up there in this local race. Mireia, how will this race be in these conditions?
It's not an easy race to manage. I mean, first of all, because of the conditions, it has been raining. It is maybe raining now. Now maybe it has stopped, but it has been raining until now. So the snow is very humid. It's wet. So there are some things that to have in mind when managing a race like that. But first of all, the skins choice, the skins that all athletes used to be able to go up for sure, and then the track. Let's see how the snow it is once we get a closer look. But I think I can say that.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. There'll be a lot of wax on the bottom and the top of skin, a silicone on the top of skis, perhaps just to stop things clogging up. Now, we can't quite see, but I think that looked like a dark uniform at the front there. So I'm going to wager Paul Verbniak or Max Drian took the lead there, but I can pretty much tell you that that is Rémi Bonnet sitting in second. I can tell by the way he moves. And here we go. It is, in fact, Max Drian of Belgium who has pushed out to the front. It's a bold place to be with Rémi Bonnet behind you.
Yes, yes. I mean, as you say, Rémi Bonnet is the man to beat, and when an athlete wins so many races as Rémi Bonnet, sometimes the other athletes think that it's impossible to win it. So I like to see these brave athletes as Maximilien Drion, that he doesn't care if it's Rémi Bonnet. He just goes, he tries, he will try to lead, he will try to win, and I like these brave athletes.
Indeed, and so we have there Max Drian and Rémi Bonnet neck and neck. Behind them, Aurélien Gay. In the green uniform, it is Paul Verbniak of Austria. I think that is Gédéon Pocha-Coteau behind him with Thibaut Anselmet in the yellow helmet, not far behind them. We're missing some people we might perhaps see in this race, but it starts to open up. Rémi Bonnet taking his habitual spot there. Maximilien Drian, Paul Verbniak, Aurélien Gay, Thibaut Anselmet. That is the top few as they head up here. Here we go. We're going to see them up close and personal. We will be also having some split timings after 150 meters of vertical. Oh, and I think that looks like Aurélien Gay's had a fall there. That is not what you want.
No, not at all, and you are right. It was Aurélien having a fall. This slope is very, very steep. We can see and with the wet snow, they slip a bit. We saw just Rémi Bonnet slipping a bit also. So this is one of the hard things today because we see that the slope is very, very steep on this view from the side, and with the wet snow you have to be careful because you can slip.
And there we are, we're seeing our first live timings. Rémi Bonnet just ahead of Maximilien Drian du Chapois, Paul Verbniak of Austria. Thibaut Anselmet has gone into fourth, Christoph Hochenwarter and Johannes Lofeyer of Austria in behind them, and that would be very unfortunate for Rémi Bonnet for him. How possible is it after a fall like that on a vertical like this to catch up?
For Aurélien, so the vertical race, one of the things of the vertical race, so the vertical race, first of all, has evolved during the year. Now the vertical races for the first men, we see that they win it around 20 minutes. This is the first men, but then behind, we see they are, usually the times are very, very packed. Here we see Rémi Bonnet and Maximilien Drian with a bit of gap with Paul Verbniak and Thibaut Anselmet, but after Thibaut Anselmet, this little gap, all the athletes come very, very together. So each second in a vertical race is precious. So for Aurélien, I think that it's very unfortunate. I don't know if he will be able to manage and recover positions, but in a vertical race, for sure, every second matters a lot.
Indeed, a little trio of Austrians there. And that looks like the Spaniard, Antonio Alcalde. And there is Aurélien Gay right there in the red uniform with the black helmet next to his compatriot, Ludovic Lation.
And there's another thing also here, Katie, that I didn't mention, is that if Aurélien has slipped in a steep part, on the beginning of the race, it's very probably that he has some skims problems on the steep parts that he slips again. So I think that this will be a hard day for him, and
Yeah.
it will be difficult. Maybe I hope that I'm being mistaken.
Yeah, it looks like he is having a problem with his skins there for sure. But here is his compatriot and sometime teammate, Rémi Bonnet, leading the pack, as we would have expected. Just out there in the bib number 13, Cameron Smith of the United States, taken to the left-hand side of our screen. And in behind Rémi Bonnet is Max Drian. Then it is Paul Verbniak of Austria in third. The yellow helmet of Thibaut Anselmet of France, the world number one, in behind. And we know, Mireia, that Rémi Bonnet is almost unbeatable in the vertical and in the individual as well. But the likes of Max Drian, Thibaut Anselmet, they are full-on all-rounders.
Yes, exactly. So now more and more we see athletes that specialize in different disciplines in ski mountaineering, sprint, relay, these short disciplines, or vertical race individual, longer disciplines. But we have also these all-round athletes as Maximilien Rion, Thibaut Selmet, that they are dangerous in all disciplines. And by dangerous, I mean that they can be on podiums in all disciplines. They can fight for podiums in all disciplines. I think that both, correct me if I'm wrong, but both Maximilian and Thibaut were on the sprint final on the World Championships, and they can fight also here on a vertical race, and they can fight also on a podium in the individual race. So it's very nice to see all these round athletes also.
Indeed, and you know full well that if Max Drian had a Belgian female compatriot, he would be making inroads into the mixed relay as well. Anyway, he is in second behind Rémi Bonnet, Paul Verbniak leading Thibaut Selmet, and that is Christoph Hochenwarter in behind them in the white helmet, just going off to the left of your screen. That, I think, is Matteo Sestizzo of Italy. Couldn't actually quite see whether it was 16, but and then Antonio Alcalde in the red uniform. Yes, that is Matteo Sostizzo. And the two Austrians behind. One is Kevin Hinterberger. But Max Drian is out there just heading off the top left, and the gap between him and Rémi Bonnet is the same as the gap between him and Paul Verbniak, as the weather gets increasingly a bit grim here in Schladming. Antonio Alcalde moving in behind Thibaut Selmet, it looks like, to go into to try and vie for fifth place. Now we've talked before, Mireia, about the sort of just other class, the next class of performance from Rémi Bonnet, and he's already showing just what an enormous difference there is between him and the rest of these exceptionally talented athletes.
Yes, totally. Rémi Bonnet, he's in an incredible shape. He has been on vertical races and also individual on the last years. And I like that Maximilien Drian tried. I really like it because it's how you improve, and it's how you can one day defeat these legends as Rémi Bonnet. But he's in an incredible shape. I mean, he gives no option at all, and he does this on every vertical race he participates, and also now in every individual. He goes very strong from the very beginning. He opens gap, and he keeps opening this gap. Right now, Rémi Bonnet is in another league, to say so. He's very, very strong, and let's not forget that he opens this gap, but all the other athletes are very, very strong too. So they are world-class athletes. So this gives us also an idea on how strong Rémi Bonnet is going.
Yes, because I mean, Max Drian was second in the World Championships, third in Azerbaijan, and fifth in Courchevel. I mean, Aurélien Gay's had a bit of a mishap today, but also, you know, they're all sitting behind him. But as you say, if they weren't for him, they'd have a very close race, all of them. And we talked about, I think it was in Courchevel, a minute 50 between himself and the second place athlete. And then in the following minute and 50 seconds, there were 25 more athletes. So here we are, Rémi Bonnet, Max Drian, Paul Verbniak, Thibaut Anselme, Matteo Sestizzo of Italy's gone in front of Antonio Alcalde, and that is Christoph Hochenwarter just leaving our screens there. Nils Oberauer of Austria, and that is Jakub Sjarnik of Slovakia. Johannes Lofer, and that Swiss uniform is Ludovic Lation. And I think that is Herman de Bertelis. And there is Aurélien Gay, very far behind, very unfortunate, and absolutely not where we would have expected to see him today. And Mireia, what makes a good vertical athlete? Because I said at the beginning, it's the sufferfest of the sport.
Yes, I cannot agree more with you. I think that in a vertical race, so there are no transitions. There are so it's effort on. It's 100% learning to suffer on this kind of effort. So a good vertical race athlete learns how to suffer a lot, because it's 20-25 minutes that you have no rest at all. It's just pushing. And 25 minutes, it's quite a lot. And so a vertical race athlete, for me, the first quality, I would say, it's learning to suffer and push through all this time that the vertical race lasts.
Now, I've just seen Rémi Bonnet do twice something we don't often see him do, and that is look behind him. Can that mean something? Because he doesn't often worry about that.
Maybe it can mean something. I think that the season is starting to be long for everyone, for all the athletes. Let's remember that they started on December. They have a lot of World Cups, World Champs, national races. So the season is starting to be long for some of them. So maybe it means something. Maybe. I don't know.
But there we have Rémi Bonnet coming through the second timing checkpoint. I don't think he's got anything to worry about. He had, at the first checkpoint, he had 1.2 seconds between him and Max Drian. That is going to be significantly more now. It is, in fact, 32 seconds, half a minute. And just behind him, Paul Verbniak, Thibaut Anselme, Matteo Sestizzo, Antonio Alcalde, Christoph Hochenwarter, Cameron Smith having a great race there for the United States. I can see him there, sort of heading up the rest of the pack in the black helmet with the star on his shoulder. Nils Oberauer, Jakub Sjarnik of Slovakia, Kevin Hinterberger, Ludovic Lation, Johannes Lofer, Herman de Bertelis, and there is Aurélien Gay in 15th position. Not where he would have hoped to be today, but such is life. Paul J. of France. And look at that gap.
I was thinking exactly the same. Look at that gap. So for sure that Rémi Bonnet is heading to the win. But then behind them, I think that this last part of the vertical race, now there are 200 meters remaining, even a little bit less. It's where the race and the podium will be decided, because they are all ski by ski. They are all very close from each other. So we know that, yeah, Rémi Bonnet is leading with super big gap, but then behind him, the podium is very open right now.
Well, I think Max Drian is trying to, I'm sorry to talk over you, but I think Max Drian is trying to not make it an open podium. He was looking like he was being caught there by Paul Verbniak, who has probably one of the biggest motivations of the day, to be on the podium for his country in home. But yeah, Max Drion is trying his best to hang on to that second place.
Yes, and Max Drion that has started very strong. All the race he has been second. He has been trying to keep this place. And let's see if he's able. Now it's the last meters. Now all the athletes will give the very all they have. And so the finish line, as you say, we will see some of them on the floor due to the effort. So let's see if Max Drion is capable of maintaining the second position until the finish line.
Indeed, and the snow has properly started. Does it make a difference once it turns to snow rather than rain, or not really at this stage?
Yeah, it makes a difference, but I don't know until which point is a good difference, because the skins are wet from the rain and the water, and then with new snow, sometimes they can stick on the skin. And then also it's always better snow than rain, but once you are wet from the rain, I don't know if for the body if it really makes a big difference on that sense.
Yes. Wet from rain, wet from snow, wet from sweat. It's all the same by this stage. But it looks like quite a lot has come down. That's quite, there seems to be quite a lot on the piste there since they actually pisted it. You can see that it's been snowing very hard here in Schladming. As Remy Bonnet comes up there to the sound of the Alpine chainsaw.
Yeah, and we just saw Remy Bonnet kicking the floor with his ski because he had some snow sticking on his skins. It's what we are saying, that with the rain on the start, the skins get wet from the rain, and then with fresh snow, the snow sticks on the skin. So let's see if he does it again, but he just got a bit of snow sticking on the skins.
Very vernacular word for that in English is clumps. And it is a horror story to have on the bottom of your skins, because you end up sitting high up on your skis with a bit of snow underneath and your skins stop doing what they're supposed to do. As Max Drion comes up there, still hanging on to that second place. And I would suggest if he wasn't working hard before, he certainly is now. And they're all, as you say, doing their absolute best. Matteo Sostizzo there, looking like he's overtaking Thibaut Anselmet to go into fourth. And maybe he has a bit of a view to getting onto this podium.
That would be something really nice for him. I'm not sure if he has been already on a World Cup podium. We'll check if it's his first, but very strong race from Matteo Sostizio for sure. But I'm sure that Paul Verbeignac in his home soil won't put things easy and will fight until the very end.
Indeed, as we have Cameron Smith there of the United States, just going off to the left of our screen. Remy Bonnet up here under the arch. This is where the crowds start to get quite thick. You can hear them. And then it sort of kicks off to the left here, and there's a pretty steep little last kicker, if I remember correctly. Well, it didn't look that steep, but here we are. As we may have predicted, Remy Bonnet crosses the line in 19:10. It's not as fast as his last year's time. Oh, and look at that. Thibaut Anselmet has absolutely put his foot down and shot past Maximilien Drion, who has gone into third. And this quite often happens on this race, but Paul Verbeignac is holding on to fourth. And Thibaut Anselmet has just given us a little bit of magic and comes in there. Oh, he was nearly caught. And it's Thibaut Anselmet in front of Max Drion, who will be a bit disappointed with that after his heroic effort. Paul Verbeignac, fourth. He has been rather familiar with the fourth place in the last few weeks, unfortunately. But wow, exciting moves there from Thibaut Anselmet.
What an incredible race from all these athletes. from starting with Remy Bonnet, starting super, super strong, to the race we have had behind him with Paul Bervegnac, Max Drion, and Thibaut Anselme, Antonio Alcalde, Matteo Sestizio.
And here they all coming in now. And they're still all racing for those positions. There's still World Cup points to be had. And there is Aurélien Guay coming across the line, or just about to. But it is a win for Remy Bonnet in a time of 19 minutes, 10 seconds, nearly 11 seconds. Thibaut Anselme, Max Drion in third. And we saw, I don't know if you saw Mireia, just as Remy Bonnet finished, he kicked his ski up to have a look. And I think you were absolutely right. It was the clumps. Oh, look. Yeah, no, those are white skins. But yeah, there's a lot of snow there.
Yeah, and even more for Remy Bonnet, so because he was first, so he had no one kind of opening track in front of him with the snowfall. So he was the one with more options to to have some clamps under the skin, under the skis, on the skins.
Indeed. And still coming across the line. Trimdalset Lodoen coming across the line there, Luarbu.
So today it's not a day, usually, as you say, on the vertical races finish line, we see a lot of people, a lot of athletes on the floor, as we were just seeing now, because the effort is very, very, very hard. But today it's not the day to lay down many time on the floor because conditions are very hard. It was raining on the start line, you come wet from the start, then snowing, so the body gets pretty cold. So if I was a coach from any of those teams, I would try to make my athletes move as fast as possible from the finish line to put something warm on and get the body warm.
Indeed, and they're still coming across the line. There were 47 of them on the start line this morning. And the locals will be delighted that there were 3 Austrians in the top 10. Paul Verbniak in 4th, Christoph Hochenwarter in 8th, and Niels Oberauer in 10th. Other than that, it was a pretty international top 10. Remy Bonnet of Switzerland, Thibaut Anselme of France, Maximilien Drion of Belgium, Paul Verbniak of Austria, Matteo Sestizio of Italy, Antonio Alcalde of Spain, Cameron Smith in 7th from the United States, Christoph Hochenwarter in 8th, Jakub Sjarnik of Slovakia in 9th, and Niels Oberauer in 10th. And I think what is interesting, Mireia, for me, is that I look back at last year's World Cup here and the one before, that a lot of the athletes, some of them are saving themselves for the sprint, some of them have got other things on, some have retired, and you know, it's quite interesting to see, and obviously the World Championships last week, some people are having a break, is a very, very, very packed season. But it's just nice to see some different people in that top 10 from what we might normally see.
Yeah, I think that first of all, as you say, the sport is growing and it's getting, the athletes are getting more and more specialized. So as sprint and relays are the Olympic disciplines, many athletes have put focus on those disciplines, but it's beautiful to see that there are some athletes also giving their best on the vertical race, on the individual races, as we can see now, and also that this opens the field for other athletes, as not all athletes have the same conditions, and some will perform better on races like a sprint, but also have the possibility of having those races, vertical races, individuals on the World Cup circuit that allows other profiles, other athletes to shine, to to shine on those disciplines. And I think that it's a very good news to have different people on the top 10, because it shows also how much the sport is still open and it's still growing. And I hope that in the next 2 years we also see other new people on on this top 10, as it will be a very good sign of this growth.
Indeed, and here we have, I think we've just missed the podium. There we go. Rémi Bonnet in the middle there. Thibaut Anselme in second. Max Trion in third. Max Trion must be a bit gutting to be shifted on to third spot there, but still an excellent, excellent result for him.
I think he can be very proud of himself. He has been very brave. If you don't try, you won't know what are you capable of. So I think that he can be very proud.
Indeed, he's had a second place in the World Championships behind Rémi Bonnet, surprise, surprise. Last week, third place in Azerbaijan and fifth in Courchevel. So it has been an excellent, not only an excellent vertical season for him, but he is doing exceptionally well and is currently number 3 in the world. So an excellent race from him. Thibaut Anselme proving what we always talk about him, that he just makes it into the last bit. He has got some extra gas, but let's leave the men at the top there and move back down to Schladming itself and see the women, because this is very exciting. The women are on the start. There are 33 of them today. And Emily Harrop, Johanna Hiemer, Ana Alonso Rodriguez, Celia Perea-Pessé. This in front of us is Thibaut Dessin, under 23 world champion as of last week. Still a junior, not a junior, I beg your pardon, an under 23. Ana Alonso Rodriguez, who won a silver medal in the team race, the mixed relay, and a place in the Olympics for Spain. Emily Harrop, the world number 1. Sarah Dreyer, this is her race to lose. She's won it twice in a row, and she is the local favorite for sure. Celia Perea-Pessé, who did an exceptional job winning the team world championship medal last week with Axel Gachet-Molleret. Yujan Sudan of China, and they're off. And this is going to be really interesting, Mireia.
Yes, I think so. I think that we don't have a clear favorite. We have for sure, we know what Emily Harrop is capable of, Sarah Dreyer and Alonso Celia Perilla. But we have Tove Alexandersson also here in this race. So we don't have a very clear favorite, as for example, when Axel is in a vertical race that she has won so many vertical races that for sure is a clear favorite. I think that here we will see what Tove does, but besides Tove, I don't have a very clear favorite, and I don't have a very clear podium. So let's see what the race brings, what the race offers us.
Indeed. Well, I have to say, in 23 and 24, the women's races were electrifying. Like, so exciting. Last year, it was Austria 1 and 2, as you can imagine, much to the delight of the local crowds. Really much excitement here for the Austrian team. Johanna Hiemer grew up meters from this resort, or from the stadium. So yeah, here we go. And I think I can tell you that on the right of the screen there at the front, Emily Harrop, I think that is Ana Alonso. On the left, Sarah Dreyer. In the middle, oh no, I think that's Celia Perea-Pessé at the front, Emily Harrop in behind, Ana Alonso. I'll stop guessing because I'm sure we're going to see them up close, but some of the ones we would probably expect to see there. But as you say, it is wide open and really exciting, because it's very cool and exceptionally impressive to have the likes of Axel and Rémi right out there at the front. But it is also very exciting to see when the pack is so tightly packed, for want of a better word.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. And I was also thinking that, for example, in a vertical race now we see, I think it's Tove on the left trying to get in first, but Tove is in an amazing shape. But we also come from the World Championships week that has been very hard for everyone. Tove has raced, I think, all the races on the World Championships. So I think that this makes this vertical race even more open. For sure, for me, the most clear favorite right now is Tove, but I'm not pretty sure, not about the podium, not about Tove's win.
And they're just popping out on our left. Alba de Silvestro. So it's Tove Alexanderson ahead of Sarah Dreyer, Emily Harrop, Anna Alonso, Alba de Silvestro, Celia Peria Pese, and Yudan Sudan of China, making a little break from the rest of the pack there in green. I think that is Rea Kobel of Slovenia. And to her left, in the slightly bent over position, that is Alessandra Schmidt of Switzerland. And to their right was Type Dessin. So yeah, little pack at the front there. And very exciting to see the Chinese athlete in there at the front there. The Chinese, certainly the Chinese juniors had a phenomenal World Championships last week. And so great to see Yudan Sudan up there with the rest of these more traditional countries in ski mountaineering.
Yes, the Chinese are doing a really great job on the last years. We are seeing more. We are seeing it more in the youth, but these youth will become seniors also. So all what they are doing now, it's already giving results, and it will give even more results in the future.
Tove Alexanderson of Sweden takes the lead ahead of Emily Harrop of France, the world #1 and the #1 ranked vertical athlete. Sarah Dreyer, who has not had a tremendous start to her season, DNF in Azerbaijan, but is a very strong vertical athlete, we know that. She's in third. In behind them, Ana Alonso Rodriguez of Spain in the red uniform, and in the blue uniform of Italy, we have Alba de Silvestro. Yudan Sudan of China in the blue helmet, and Celia Peria Pese at the back there as they take the sharp right and go through our first timing spot. The two Swiss there, Type Dessin, Alessandra Schmidt. It's really starting to spread out now.
Yeah, I think that it's more, it's maybe more the perspective as it's this flat part. I think that with the men we had the same feeling here because it comes from a very steep slope to this part that it's flat, and then after this flat part we'll have a steep again, and we'll have a better reference if it's spreading or it's just the perspective. But for sure that Tove and Emily Harrop are starting to open a bit of gap. But once the slope comes steep again, I think that we will see them much closer than we see now.
And we saw there two very different techniques that Tove started running as soon as she got to the flat. Emily was gliding and then soon picked up the pace. But that is the running started for just about everyone. Sarah Dreyer has dropped down into 5th. Type Dessin, the under-23 world champion, Alessandra Schmidt behind her. But there we see a clear gap opening up between Tove Alexanderson at the front, Emily Harrop behind her, and then the sort of 3 or 4 at the back, still all to play for. Well, it's all to play for, but so at the moment, Tove Alexanderson, Emily Harrop, Sarah Dreyer gone back into 3rd, Alba de Silvestro, Ana Alonso, Yudan Sudan, Celia Peria Pese, Type Dessin, Alessandra Schmidt. Bit of a slip there from Ilaria Veronese in the bright blue helmet. Behind her, Lisa Morischini, both of Italy, Lara Veronese having some trouble with her skins there, I think. But I saw Tove also having a slip.
Yeah, the conditions are not super easy today, as it happened with the men's race. The weather conditions make it more difficult for the skins, because we have rain, we have snow, we have you can slip, you can with the wet skins, or maybe the snow can stick on the skin. So it's not a super easy race to manage on that sense.
No, and Tove Alexanderson, actually, this is her first World Cup vertical of the season. She was second behind Axel Gachet-Molleret at the World Championships last week, but this is her first World Cup outing. But she's a multidisciplined athlete, many times world champion in the sport of ski orienteering and world champion in the individual in ski mountaineering last week. And there she is, looking so strong.
Yeah, Tove, it's a force of nature. She looks so strong. Also, Emily Harrop, she's also a force of nature, and she looks super strong. And also all of them. We see Sarah Dreyer with a bit of a suffering face. But yeah, Tove is an amazing athlete. It's incredible what we've seen about her, how strong she is.
Sarah Dreyer is quite literally gritting her teeth as Alba Di Silvestro in the black helmet makes a move out. Sarah Dreyer's having none of it. Moves out in front of her. Ana Alonso of Spain. Celia Peria-Pessé. Ilaria Veronese. Yudan Sudan just dropping back a little bit there as the Swiss athletes. I saw that Alessandra Schmidt had made a bit of a move there ahead of Type Dessin. Lisa Moraschini, Perrine Gindre of France. That is Lara Hamilton of Australia. And to our right in the pale blue helmet, that is Victoria Kreutzer. A veteran, we might say, Mireia. A 5-time World Cup winner in the vertical, 3-time Swiss vertical champion.
Yes, you can say that she's a veteran. I think I'm pretty sure she has the same age as me, and because I remember competing with her back then. So yeah, we can say that she's a veteran.
No, we don't say old, we just say veteran. But it's great to see her back racing, because she's had a couple of years of some nasty Achilles injury, and it's so nice to see her back racing again in Swiss colours. Lives in Zermatt, and delighted to be back wearing the Swiss uniform. But it is Sweden powering ahead here in the shape of Tove Alexandersson. As we come near the top, we will soon get to see the second checkpoint, timing checkpoint at 400 meters of vertical. Tove Alexandersson getting some local support. Gosh, look at that snow now.
Yes, and it comes with a bit of wind. We see that it comes like across the screen. So it doesn't have to be a really cool experience right now.
I don't think so. Sarah Dreyer hanging on to that third place. Every time Alba Di Silvestro makes a move, Sarah Dreyer absolutely has her technique and her strategy nailed. She just pops back in front of her. But she's always got slight movement in her head and shoulders, which you can sometimes think of as being tired, but I think it's just actually sometimes the way she races. Alba Di Silvestro, though, holding on for dear life, and hopefully, or will be hoping, she can make a move later on. But no signs of tiredness in Tove Alexandersson, or Emily Harrop for that matter. Type Descent, Celia Periapese of Switzerland and France, respectively. There we go. Alba Di Silvestro has made her move, and Sarah is maybe saying, right, it's your turn. You take the wind and the snow.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, in fact, with the vertical races, sometimes this works well, just to get behind an athlete. I mean, it's not like in bike that in road bike that it really makes a difference, but sometimes it can be also easier for the mind to spend some time behind another athlete and then try to make a move when the time comes, if that's possible for Sarah in this case.
But she's responding. Every time Alba goes, she's responding. So she's clearly capable of keeping up with her, certainly for the moment. Sarah Dreyer has won this 2 years in a row, 23 and 24, and holds the record for the course, or for the ISMF World Cup course, 23 minutes, 23 seconds. Let's see what Tove is going to do with that today. Just a small dip of the head there, maybe a time to dig deep there. Little movement from Tove as we see the field a little bit more spread out now. Alba Di Silvestro at the top of our screens there, trying to make a bit of a gap, and I think she may just have at least gained a meter or so, and she puts on a bit of a jog. And Sarah Dreyer is going to have to work very, very hard to catch Alba Di Silvestro to take a podium place here at her home race. Tove takes a small look under her arm just to see what damage is being done behind her. As Alba Di Silvestro, I think it's maybe the angle, but looks to be closing a little bit, but no, I think it's still a good gap. Looks like really tough conditions now, Maria.
Yeah, they look. I was thinking exactly the same. The snow. We have heavy snowfall, very tough conditions, and it's a tough day today for these athletes. But Tove is leading with full strength, and Emily Harrop also incredible as always. It's one of these athletes that can perform on all disciplines, I think, and she can fight for the first place on all disciplines. And behind them, Albert Silvestro that she has not had a really good start to the season, because I think she was sick for some weeks. And Sarah Dreyer, that you were also telling, she hasn't had the best start to the season. So it's really good to see both of them here fighting for this third place in the podium. And I mean, even if Alba is trying to open some gap with Sarah, Sarah is fighting this third place and not trying to let Alba go. So let's see how it goes, this battle or fight between them.
So 19 seconds between Tove Alexanderson and Emily Harrop. Another 30 or so, 25 or so after them is Alba Di Silvestro. Sarah Dreyer now has 6 seconds after Alba Di Silvestro. There is Ilaria Veronesi of Italy in the bright blue helmet. Celia Periapese with her very familiar, quite bent over shape. She is very reminiscent of Axel Gachet-Molleret in that shape. Celia, beg your pardon, Alessandra Schmidt of Switzerland has come up through into 7th. Yudan Sudan. You can hear the Swiss roaring on for their athletes there. As Lara Hamilton of Australia is having an incredible race, sitting in front of Victoria Kreutzer and Laura Bocchino. What a day she's having.
Yeah, totally, totally. What a day also for Australia, because I think that maybe it's the best the best result for Australia so far on an international race. So really impressive performance from Lara Hamilton. And even on the women, we see that they all are very, very close. Vertical race, I think that it's a very exciting race because even if it's a 20-25 minute effort, results are I mean, the times are so close. Now here we see Tobin first, Emily Harrop in second. That for sure they have open gap with the rest of the group, but the rest of the group, they are all very close from each other, and the times are on a vertical race in few seconds you can have in 1 minute you can have 20 athletes that come in, for example. So I like it. I like this side of the vertical race, that there's a lot of it's very competitive on that sense.
It is, and talking of competition, that is Emily Harrop's view. Is that Alba Di Silvestro's view of Emily Harrop trailing Tove Alexandersson? It is Sweden ahead of France. And we were just talking about Lara Hamilton of Australia. She is a mountain runner, a trail runner, 6th in the World Mountain Running Cup last year. And so great to see athletes transitioning from other sports into this one, such as has done this woman.
Exactly, and I think that vertical race it's a very good discipline for other endurance sports to switch to ski mountaineering, because they don't have the transitions that are more technical, or a downhill that is more technical. So vertical race, it's also one of these this discipline. It's very open in terms of that allows very easy other athletes from other disciplines to come into ski mountaineering.
But it is always interesting, I think, somewhat shocking for some of the best mountain runners or whatever sport they might come from, some of the fittest athletes in the world, they come and they are up against the fittest ski mountaineering athletes in the world, and it has known to cause some shock waves to very, very accomplished athletes.
Yeah, usually the vertical races where we have seen more of that, because the other disciplines in ski mountaineering, there's other things involved than so they are more technical, there are downhills. So but vertical races, from as long as I remember, we have had these kind of situations where other athletes from other sports or disciplines come in, can do a super great result, and it's also the door that opens for them to invest more in ski mountaineering and then try other disciplines in ski mountaineering and invest more on this sport.
And Alba Di Silvestro has finally opened up that gap. Sarah Dreyer no longer able to respond to the Italians' push for third place. But look at those gaps between the first 4 women here. We weren't sure. We had our suspicions, and it looks like probably certainly Tove was the favorite, with Emily currently in second. But yeah, an incredible performance, because as you say, Tove Alexandersson raced every single race in the World Championships last week, which very few other people, certainly very few at the top of the sort of rankings did.
Yes, at the top, I think that maybe I don't want to say she was the only one, but I'm pretty sure that she was that there were not many, and also at this level because she won the individual world championship. So it's not that she was just doing them because she was there. She was doing them because there were titles there, and
Yeah.
she wanted to fight for them.
A final for the team mixed relay. Then she was second in the vertical, world champion, and here she goes, winning her first World Cup vertical of the 2025 season, and completely and utterly flopping over the line. Tove Alexandersson takes the win in 22 minutes 37 seconds, 0.4, making a new course record as well. Behind her, Emily Harrop of France, 18 seconds behind. Also, absolutely pooped. That's the second time this season I've used that word to describe her. And Abadi Silvestro comes in over the line in third after a great race against particularly Sarah Dreyer.
Well, an incredible race from all these women. They look very, very tired. The effort was massive from all of them. Toves Alexandersson time was incredible, and also Emily Harrop and Alba de Silvestro.
Sarah Dreyer crosses the line in fourth, always a big smile on her face, this athlete. The home crowd goes nuts. She has not managed to hold on and do the hat trick, but it has not been a great start to the season, and that is an incredible performance for her today, given what she has been through, well, not been through, but how she has been performing this season. Congratulations to her. As Sarah Dreyer there and Abadi Silvestro having a bit of a mutual appreciation for a great race. Celia Peria-Pessé off to the right there, as we see coming across the line Ilaria Veronese of Italy, Yujan Tsudan of China in sixth. Fantastic race for her. That is her highest place vertical this year, that is for sure. I beg your pardon, that was, yes, and Celia Peria-Pessé of France, Alessandra Schmidt in eighth. Thibaut Dessin, the under-23 world champion, comes in ninth for Switzerland. Perrine Gindre having a great race for France. Lisa Moreschini of Italy. Anna Alonso looking like she's pretty happy to be finished.
Exactly. Yeah, she looks quite tired, and I think that if the vertical was 100 meters less, she would have been very happy.
And perhaps one of the efforts of the day, results of the day, Lara Hamilton of Australia in a very, very fantastic 13th place, ahead of Laura Bocchino, who is a Swiss vertical specialist, and Victoria Kreutzer, one of the best in the world, back to racing. And behind them, another Swiss athlete makes an appearance, Simone Troxler. But Lara Hamilton had three very, very good Swiss athletes breathing down her neck. And they're still coming up to this last bit. Jingshuan Liu of China putting in a bit of a sprint, bit of an effort there across the line. Yuri Tanaka of Japan coming up there. Roman Gauthier of Switzerland crosses the line. Yuri Tanaka ahead of Grace Stayberg of the United States. And there we have number 1 and number 2 on the left, Tove Alexandersson of Sweden chatting to Emily Harrop, the world number 1, and they are up there on your screen. Tove Alexandersson of Sweden wins, takes the course record in 22:37.4. Emily Harrop of France, Alba Di Silvestro of Italy make up the top 3. Sarah Dreyer of Austria, followed by Ilaria Veronesi, Yujan Tsudan, Celia Perepese, Alessandro Schmidt, Thibaut Dessin, and Anna Alonso, I think. Beg your pardon. Perrine Gendre, I beg your pardon. Tove Alexandersson of Sweden. Unfortunately, those second and third places are standing in the wrong place, but it was second for Emily Harrop and third for the for Alba Di Silvestro. The World Cup rankings, Emily Harrop has overtaken Axel Gachet-Molleret in the rankings. Anna Alonso has gone up to third. Celia Perepese, Sarah Dreyer, Alba Di Silvestro all moved up. There's no sign of Johanna Hiemer in there. I'm not sure if she even took to the start line. And Alessandra Schmidt has also moved up into the top 10. Tove Alexandersson goes in at number 12 because this was her first race. I sound like I'm doing the Top of the Pops. It's a very popular music program when I was growing up. Straight in at number 12, Tove Alexandersson with 100 points. A great day out for the Swede. Takes the course record. I think that is, I can safely say, her second vertical win in an ISMF World Cup race. First was in Andorra in 2022.
Tove, big hand to you. First appearance here on the Planai in Schladming in Austria, and what a great win. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was a really tough race, but fun.
Tough because of the wet conditions?
Oh, tough because of everything, the steep, and it's quite short, but so you really need to push hard all the time. So I was really, really tired in the end, but yeah, it was a really nice track.
When was the moment where you thought, okay, this could be my win here in Austria?
Oh yeah, I had a gap quite early in the race, but I know when you start get lacked out and start to be tired, you can lose a lot of time. So I was never sure of the win because it felt like Emily was catching some time of me in the end, and I was so tired, so I was just focused on keep on pushing until the finish line.
Last question, gold and silver at the World Championships, now again the win. How tired are you?
Yeah, the World Championship was a really tough week. I did all of the races, so I've been really, really tired the last day, so I'm super happy that the shape still is good. And yeah, it was a hard race today, but I felt good, so it's fun to race when the shape is like this.
All the best for the next races.
Thank you, I'm really looking forward.
Tove Alexandersson, indeed, of Sweden, takes the win and the new course record. The World Cup rankings for the men following their race earlier. Rémi Bonnet, 3 from 3. Max Drion up into second. Thibaut Anselme in third. Aurélien Gay down into fourth because of that unfortunate fall. Christoph Hochenwarter in fifth. Paul Verbniak goes up to sixth. Antonio Alcalde from Spain, seventh. Paul J down to eighth. Gédéon Pochakotiu up into ninth. and Johanna Slofire of Austria makes the third Austrian in the top 10 in the men's World Cup rankings for the vertical race. Well, what a day. We see Rémi Bonnet holding his title up there at the top, 3 from 3, his 17th victory in a row, and Tove Alexandersson first of all taking the win and onto the rankings, but now Emily Harrop first in the overall rankings for the women. So, Mireia.
You can say it, yes. What a day we have had. It's always very exciting, a World Cup race, in this case the vertical race, and having these new faces today that maybe we haven't seen in other races of the season. So it was very fun to watch and to follow. These athletes are all amazing, and just expecting tomorrow, the sprint, that will have also another also amazing day.
Indeed, and the snow keeps falling here in Austria. I suspect overall they will be very delighted for that because it is a little bare. But that brings us to the end of the vertical race here in Austria. Schladming once more has provided us with a spectacular course and an atmosphere despite the inclement weather, and fantastic wins for Rémi Bonnet and especially for Tove Alexandersson, particularly her first of the season, leaving us in absolutely no doubt whatsoever about the standard and the quality of these athletes. There will be more action tomorrow from the ISMF World Cup, but for now, from Mireia and me, bye-bye.
Okay, ISMF World Cup ski mountaineering Schladming Bachstein 2025. Auf Platz Nummer 3 in third place, representing Belgium für Belgien, Max Léon Di Chapois. Bürgermeister Thomas Reingruber, the mayor of Nürnberg, with a special prize for Max. In second place, auf Rang Nummer 2, representing France für Frankreich, Thibaut Anselmet. Renate Götzschel, the Vice President of the President of the Styrian Ski Federation, with the prize for Thibaut Anselmet. And first winner champion. The hat trick is completed, representing Switzerland für die Schweiz, Rémi Bonnet. Yeah, before Vice President of the ISMF with the prize. So, top 3 boys. First winner, Rémi Bonnet. Second, Thibaut Anselmet. And third, Max Léon Di Chapois. Boys, see you downstairs at the winner's presentation. Then
just one photo.
1630 minutes, 4:30. Wir bitten um die Einspielung der Ski Mountaineering Fanfare. ISMF World Cup Ski Mountaineering Schladming 2025. This is the presentation of the top three. Auf Rang Nummer 3 in third place, terzo posto, Alba de Silvestro, Italia, Italy, Italia. Auf Rang Nummer 2. Once again on the podium here on the Planai. Second place für Frankreich, representing France, Emily Perrault. Und erste und damit ISMF Weltcup-Siegerin auf der Planai. First and winner representing Sweden für Schweden, Tove.